Solving polynomial equations. I'm Anil Kumar and we are discussing how to solve polynomial equations. It is chapter 4 Nelson, Advanced Functions grade 12. Now solving polynomial equations really means to find the value of x so that the value of function is 0. So in general we are trying to equate the function to 0 and for what value of x. So we try to find the value of x which will make function 0. That is what we mean by saying solving polynomial equation. Now in this particular case we have y equals to 2x times x minus 1 times x plus 3 times x plus 5. We also have two other equations to work with. These are f of x equals to 3 times 2x minus 3 cubed times 3x plus 1 squared, and the third one is y equals to x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 9. Now the question is, state zeros and solve polynomial equations. So that is what we will be doing in general when we are solving polynomial equations. This is the very first question for us, and we are given the polynomial equation in factored form. So it's kind of simpler. We know if you multiply anything by 0, you get 0. So finding zeros is in a way solving equation. Now here we have 4 factors, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's find zeros equating each factor to 0. So first 0 is at x equals to 0. We can find by equating 2x equals to 0. If I write 2x equals to 0, I get the value of x as 0, correct? So let's solve. So we get x equals to 0. So that is the first 0. Then the second factor is x minus 1. Let us equate to 0. Then the solution is x equals to 1, right? For x equals to 1, 1 minus 1 will be 0. Then we have a factor x plus 3. Let's equate that to 0, and then the solution will be x equals to minus 3. And the fourth factor for us is, let me write here first, x plus 5. Let's equate that to 0, and what do we get as our solution? We get x equals to minus 5. So we have 4 zeros here, right? So our zeros are at, let me write down the answer here. Zeros are at, first 0 here, at x equals to 0, x equals to 1, x equals to minus 3, and x equals to minus 5. So these are our 4 zeros. And all these 4 zeros are linear in nature. Now second part of this question is solve polynomial equation. The solution of this equation is, let me write solution here, squeeze it in, is x equals to the zeros, which are 0, 1, minus 3 and minus 5. So that is how we actually solve polynomial equations. The second one is f of x equals to 3 times 2x minus 3 cubed times 3x plus 1. Now let's state the zeros in this case. Let me write down the answer here. Zeros. The first 0 is because of the factor 2x minus 3. 3 is a constant, so it will never be a 0. So that factor 3 does not give you any 0. But 2x minus 3 will. So 2x minus 3 equals to 0. That means x is equals to 3 over 2. Now when we are talking about zeros, we should also see the exponent. It is 3. That means order of this 0 is 3, or multiplicity is 3. So that we can write in bracket order that cube 3. So there are basically 3 zeros at x equals to 3 over 2. Right? Now let's look into the second 0, which is 3x plus 1. Now that 0, 3x plus 1, so we'll equate 3x plus 1 equals to 0, and what do we get? We get x equals to minus 1 over 3. And what is the order of this 0? Order is 2. So we should write here order 2. or sometimes instead of order we use the word multiplicity, right? So in case of zeros we should mention order or multiplicity. That is kind of important. So here we have two zeros. The first one here shown is at 3/2 and the order is 3. The second zero is at -1/3 and its order or multiplicity is 2. Now let's look into the third question on this sheet. We have two factors, x squared plus 1 and x squared minus 9. If I equate x squared plus 1 to 0, I get x squared equals to -1, x equals to plus minus square root of -1. Well, square root of -1 is not real, so it does not lead to any real zeros. So no zero because of the first factor, correct? Now let's look into the next factor. The next factor for us is x squared minus 9. X squared minus 9 equate to 0. Solve for x. X equals to 9, x squared equals to 9 and x equals to plus minus square root of 9, which is plus minus 3. So for part C we get two zeros. Now our zeros in this case are at x equals to plus 3 and at minus 3. And order is linear. So whenever the order is linear, we don't have to mention. And that is why we didn't mention in the first part A question also. Correct? So these are the zeros. And as far as the solutions are concerned, solve polynomials, solutions. Now when we talk about solutions, then the solutions could be real or imaginary. Now in this case, it all depends. If you are working in the set of complex numbers, right, let's say x belongs to complex numbers. In that case, the first factor also gives us a solution. In that case, our solution will be x is equal to plus minus I. That is in the set of complex numbers. And the second factor gives us two other solutions, which are at x equals to plus minus 3. So that is how part C is very different from others, right? So let's have a better look at it. If you have a factor like this, and let us say we say x belongs to complex numbers, in that case we have to mention this solution also, where I is square root of minus 1, right? Complex numbers. But if the question is x belongs to real numbers, then the zeros are our solution. I hope you understand and appreciate. And that is why in this question we have two things, state zeros and solve polynomial equations. When we say solve polynomial equations, and if our domain is complex numbers, then we have to list complex roots also. But if our domain is real numbers, then zeros are our real solutions. So that is the point which you should understand and appreciate when solving polynomial equations in advanced functions. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.